好，我是 Katrina. In today's lesson, we're going to talk about the importance of learning Chinese characters. I've told hundreds of students for the past 7 years. More than half of my students say, Katrina, can I just learn how to speak and listen Mandarin? I don't want to learn how to read and write Chinese character because it seems very complicated and difficult. Well, I have to say that a lot of people are right about it, that Chinese characters indeed are very complicated and difficult, and not to mention we have two different types of character. One is simplified Chinese that is used in China. The other one is traditional Chinese character that is used in Taiwan, where I am right now. So, well, I can understand that some people would like to just get away with not knowing Chinese character and to master, to learn Mandarin. However, it doesn't really work. In the long run, it doesn't really work if you don't know how to read. At least you don't know how to read Chinese character. Okay, here's why. As you might know that in Mandarin, we also use Roman alphabet, but that's not our character. Roman alphabet, we use that in our pinyin system. Pinyin is the pronunciation system that helps us to pronounce the sound of the word. For example, you can see here, it's wu, en, wen. So this is pinyin that helps us to pronounce the word wen. However, the same pronunciation and the same tone, wen, might have a lot of many different characters. For another example, this is also wen. You can see that they are the same, exactly the same pronunciation, but different characters. This one means language, written language, but this one means to smell or news. So it would be very complicated in the long run in the conversation when you talk to someone or you learn a new word. You're like, okay, I learned this word wen. Is this sound wen? And then suddenly you learn another new word means news or to smell. It is also wen, and now you get confused. When you are reading the text, okay, you can use, of course, you can use your phone and typing in pinyin, and people can understand with pinyin. But when you are reading the text of a bunch of Roman alphabet in Mandarin, which is pinyin, you're reading a lot of pinyin, and then you think, is this wen meaning news or this wen meaning language? Now this is where you start getting confused and getting headache. So that is the reason why knowing how to recognize Chinese characters is very important. As the time goes by, you learn more and more Chinese. You will slowly feel the importance of knowing Chinese characters. Now let's take a look at the 3 words that I wrote on the board right now. The first 2 here, the first one and the third one, they have the exact pronunciation, which is wen. All right, so this wen means language, as I said. It means written language mostly, and this wen means to smell. So you can smell flowers, you can smell coffee. Okay, wen, cafe. Okay, and then you see that here I have 2 different characters. This is traditional character. So if you're studying or living in Taiwan, you have to learn traditional character because in Taiwan we don't have simplified one. We don't use that. And most Taiwanese people, 90% of the Taiwanese people, we don't know simplified character. We can read because as you can see, this is the simplified character that is not much more, but a little bit more simplified and easier than the traditional one, but they're not really far away from each other, not much difference. So as Taiwanese, Taiwanese, if we grew up in the traditional character, we're educated with traditional character, it's not really difficult for us to see the easier one. So if you are studying or living in Taiwan, you need traditional one. And if you're in China doing business, or you're in China working, whatever, you need the simplified one. So remember, okay, first, before you start learning the character, you have to choose the traditional one or the simplified one. Okay, maybe with your own preference or your need, all right? So this is Taiwan, this is China. And the other one in the middle you can see is wen. This is a fourth tone. So see, if you don't know the characters in Chinese, and then when I say wen, okay, when I say wen, you'll be like, is it wen? Which one do you say? You mean wen or when or the other one? All right, you get really confused, right? So once you know the characters, I say wen, okay? In your brain, you have the image of this character, not this Roman alphabet, not the pinyin, not the sound. You have the meaning because the words contains the meaning, right? So what is this? Wen. Wen means to ask, which is a verb. For example, I ask a question, 我问一个问题. All right, so 问 means to ask. And so you can see also that this is the traditional one. We use in Taiwan. We use this character. And here is the simplified one. This is used in China. And if you take a look at these four words, you might see that sometimes there's a logic. When the Chinese government making the simplified character, there's a logic. They make some of the parts the radicals, okay? The parts, you can say component, parts, or radical. Some of the components from traditional Chinese, they simplify to their own simplified, easier Chinese. So when you see this, I'm gonna block this out. When you see this component, which means door, okay? If you don't know, that's okay. So when you see this component or when you see this part, it's usually simplified to something like this, okay? Well, from what I see in this case, it doesn't really simplify a lot. So when you see the words, you might know that, well, actually there's a logic. When the Chinese government, they are creating the simplified Chinese. They're just simplified some components of Mandarin, of Chinese character, to the own new look. Okay, like this one becomes this one. All right, this video I'm just going to share you to answer your question, why is it important to know Chinese characters, to learn Chinese character? Because in the long run, it's really helpful with your study. Okay, if you want to study for 2 or 5 years, you want to master this language, you must learn how to read. But how to write, well, of course, you need to write in order to remember how to recognize the Chinese character. So I would say, yes, it's very important. But I'm not saying that you have to know how to recognize 1,000, 2,000 characters. That would be a bit crazy because you're not really want to be a master of Chinese, right? One more thing that I want to say, yes, reading, knowing to know, learning how to read Chinese character is very difficult, but there are some ways. For example, you can see they share the same components, right? So some of the teacher, when they are teaching Chinese character, they will teach you some components or radicals of Chinese first, and then teach you the word. That's one of the methods they do it. Yes, it's very helpful that if you know some important component of Chinese and then start learning some new word, that's really helpful. So when you know this word, this character already, and the other day you learn a new character, you'll be like, okay, I know this component already, so it's easy. And I just combine the other component together. Oh, that's a new word. So In the beginning, it's kind of difficult, but in the end, it will get easier and easier. So the more you learn, the easier it gets, okay? It's usually hard in the beginning. I think it's the same thing when you learn any language. So don't be lazy, just do it, all right? That's all for today. If you have any question about learning Chinese character, please leave your comment below. I'll try to answer. Catch you next time. Bye bye. 再见. 你好, thank you for watching and subscribing my YouTube channel. I hope my video lessons help you with learning Mandarin. If you're interested in more video lessons, you're welcome to go to my official website, which is right here, www.smartmandarinchinese.com. I have loads of video lessons for you to learn, and it's all categorized in different levels. And of course, if you want to have a Skype lesson online with me, you can also contact me at this email. This is my email. So if you would like to book a lesson with me, please write me an email. Alright, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you next time and hope to see you in the class. 加油，再见。